Hi YouTube, Patrick here from South Island Tiny House. I've lived in a tiny house for 5 years before we built our big house. Check that out on our other videos. We have the book, so check that out. We'll drop that in the description. But today I'm going to talk about this 5 meter by 2.4 meter trailer that I built out of pre-galv. Before we get into it, please subscribe and like this video and let's check it out. So I get a lot of inquiries about, people wanting trailers for tiny homes, and they say, how much for a trailer? And I says, well, there's a lot of different factors that, different kind of trailers have. What kind of rating you want, what kind of material you want it built out of. Do you want electric brakes? Do you want 3 axles, 2 axles? There's so many variables. But today I'll talk to you about this trailer and show you how I built it. Maybe it'll give you some ideas for your trailer build or a friend's trailer build. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll definitely answer them and give you some knowledge that we have over the years of building trailers. So this trailer here has 2 torsion axles, one with electric brakes on it. So it's a 12-volt braking system. That's because this trailer is rated to 3 ton. So each axle is rated to 1500 kg. Every trailer is different, like I said, because you can have electric over hydraulic, you can have just electric brakes like this one has, and there's only one axle that's braked. And you can also just have hydraulic brake trailers. So hydraulic brake trailers typically can only handle up to about 2500 kg. So the minute you get over that threshold, you really want to start looking at hydraulic over electric or just electric in general. And electric braking systems are, honestly, they're so smooth when you're going to stop. They're not touchy like hydraulics are. You don't have to get out of the vehicle to flip a lever to back the trailer up. It's just, they're really nice and they're really easy to install. So definitely recommend electric braking systems. So electric braking systems probably cost, I'd say about the same amount as a hydraulic braking system, maybe a little bit more. But so with a hydraulic braking system, there's always that chance of, you could rupture a brake line. You could have a leak and, lose fluid over time. The master cylinder could fail. The ram and the coupling could fail. There's so many moving parts. This one's a single electric brake trailer, which I don't think there's any need to have both axles braked on a trailer this size. It's not quite big enough. If this was a triple axle, I would probably have 2 of the axles braked, and that's easy enough to link all the brakes up. It's just a matter of running cables from each drum to the next drum. I forgot to mention as well that these axles that I buy, they're torsion axles, and that means there's no leaf springs. Once the load is on the trailer, they operate very smoothly, but since there's no load on the trailer, it's a bit like a really rough ride when there's nothing on there. The brakes on the torsion axles come with drum brakes, so they're definitely rugged. So let's have a look at how this braking system works from the tow coupling, and I'll show you what you get when you buy a trailer from me. All right, so let's start with the battery box. So I figured out a way to keep the battery very small and very powerful, so you get about 8 hours of towing consistently with this battery. Okay, and it's in a watertight box, which has a nice rubber seal on it. Okay, you can check your battery life here with that, it's full. And you can also disconnect this and take it away into the house and charge it. So it's not stuck to your trailer. You don't have to bring a battery charger out and muck around. Bring it in, plug it into USB, bring it out the next day, charge, ready to go. So easy, plug it in, put it away, clip it on. You're good to go for 8 hours. You can leave it on there. You can use it, half hour a day and just pluck away and keep checking the battery life and charge it when you need to. I think that's a pretty cool feature. So if you come around to this side over here, so on this side of the trailer, we have a 12-volt controller basically. So what this does is, depending on the load on the trailer, so if this had a house on it and you were doing the 3-ton load, you'd probably want to put that up to max. Okay, because you have a big load and you want the brakes to be working at full capacity when you hit the brake in the vehicle. Okay, at the moment I have it on basically nothing. because I don't want this thing skidding down the road every time I stop, because what'll happen is the brakes will just lock up because there's no weight on the trailer. So just keeping it low and it's just nice and smooth when you hit the brakes is what you want. And obviously every trailer is different, every size, every weight. So you just want to make sure you just keep an eye on the trailer and see what it's doing, and then you can adjust the controller to suit your needs. Okay, so also in the braking system here, we have a handbrake, okay? And this is just so if you parked on a hill or whatever, anytime you need to have the trailer braked, you can pull up on this lever, and then now nothing's gonna move, the trailer is staying put. So that's obviously there's a cable here that runs to the back, to that brake axle, and you can manually control those brakes. And you flip that up, and then that's that. Over here, we've just got a heavy-duty jockey wheel, which is rated to, I think, 1200 kg. If you had any more than 1200 kg on your drawbar at any time, you'd have some problems anyway. Couple chains, and that's pretty much it for up here. I mean, there's nothing really more to see. All right, so this trailer here, the customer wanted made out of pre-galv or galvanized steel, and normally I don't really muck around with welding galvanized because it's a bit of a pain and it spatters and it makes a mess. But since she wanted it done out of this, I told her that's okay. We'll just paint the welds, and she was happy with that. But because there's no galvanizing plant in Dunedin, your options are very limited as far as getting a trailer galvanized. So this is probably the closest you can do unless you want to send your trailer down to Christchurch to get galvanized. It's not a bad option, and obviously you're just dependent on some galvanized spray paint to spray all your welds. There's another company in Dunedin that does arc blasting, which is pretty similar to galvanizing, but not quite the same. Those are options as well. There's obviously other coatings you can do. You can get powder coated trailers. You can do, professionally painted trailers. There's a lot of options, but keeping it cheap is probably the most important. So as far as the cheapest options, so starting at just bare steel material would be the cheapest, and then the next would be the pre-galv material, and then the next would be getting your trailer sent off to get hot dip galv. And honestly, you hear a lot of talk about it has to be galvanized, It doesn't have to be galvanized, and it's all about doing your prep, especially if you're using bare steel material. You need a good primer. Make sure your material is free of grease and dust, and make sure you prime it good. And then I use rust converter, which works really well. And then putting a good rust-proof paint on it is a couple coats of good rust-proof paint. Make sure you do that, and honestly, your trailer will last you years and years and years and years without ever rusting or ever having a problem with it. And especially if there's a structure sitting on it, So, yeah. So if you guys are looking for a trailer, obviously building materials are on the rise on a day-to-day basis, and getting harder and harder to come by. So if you're interested in trailer, let me know what you're interested in. We can get a quote through as quick as 48 hours usually, and then we can go from there, and hopefully we can find a good trailer for you. So this trailer here is probably one of the smallest tiny house trailers I built. It's 5 meters by 2.4, like I said. All my trailers come warranty fitness for 3 years, rego for 12 months, and everything you need to basically start your build right away. So there's no mucking around. So give me a call, check out our website. I'm Patrick from Pico Engineering, and we'll catch you next time, guys.